Good morning, everyone. This is me again, your teacher, Verna, and today we're going to learn about the nervous system. The nervous system is very important in helping to maintain the homeostasis or the balance of the human body. A series of sensory receptors work with the nervous system to provide information about changes in both the internal and external environment. The human nervous system is a complex of interconnected systems in which larger systems are comprised of smaller subsystems, each of which have a specific structure with specific functions. Neurons or the nerve cells are the basic element of the nervous system. The cell body is the main processing of the cell. The dendrites are the thin branching extensions of the body that conduct nerve impulses toward the cell body, while the axon is a single branch in most neurons which conduct away from the cell body. So here are the types of neurons. Sensory neuron receives input from the senses through the receptor sites. Interneuron connects the type of neurons such as the motor and the sensory. It is also provide proper connections so that sensory impulses can be changed into motor impulses, while the motor neurons, in which impulses are turned into physical movement. So, when a sense of pain is perceived, your sensory neuron sends impulses to the brain. The brain then interprets these signals and sends a message to the motor neurons on how they should respond. So, this is how we respond to stimuli. Signals are important in our lives. They carry information that tells us to listen, relax, stop, or to be alert. Nerve impulse is a wave of chemical and electrical signal that is conducted along the membrane of neurons. A tiny gap called a synapse between two adjacent neurons and the between neurons and effectors. The division of nervous system. The nervous system is divided into two main parts. First is the central nervous system, and the second one is the peripheral nervous system. The two divisions of the nervous system working together as a team to monitor, coordinate, and control the activities of the entire body. The central nervous system is the command of the entire body. It processes information and sends instructions to the other parts of the body. All the information gathered by sensory receptors are delivered to the central nervous system in the form of nerve impulse, and it consists of two main components such as the brain and the spinal cord. These organs work together to integrate and coordinate sensory and motor information for the purpose of controlling the various tissues, organs, and organ systems of the body. Brain is an organ located within the skull that functions as organizer and distributor of information for the body. It has three main parts. First is cerebrum, large upper part of the brain that controls activity and thought. Cerebellum, the part under the cerebrum that controls posture, balance, and coordination. While the brainstem, the part that connects the brain to the spinal cord and controls automatic functions such as breathing, digestion, heart rate, and blood pressure. And these are the other parts of the brain. As you can see, it has a different function also, just like the sensory cortex. It could feel the pain, heat, and other sensations. The brainstem, swallowing, breathing, heartbeat, wakefulness, center of the other involuntary functions, cerebellum as coordination, frontal lobe as smell, and so on. The spinal cord serves as a channel for signals between the brain and then the rest of the body, and controls simple musculoskeletal reflexes without input from the brain. The nerve pathway involved in a reflex action, including at its simplest a sensory nerve and a motor nerve with a synapse between. Reflexes are not only lightning-fast reactions, they are also automatic. Your automatic response is to quickly withdraw your hand from a hot object. Reflex arc is the nerve pathway involving in a reflex action, including at its simplest a sensory nerve and a motor nerve with a synapse between. Peripheral nervous system is a collection of peripheral nerves, ganglia, and specialized sensory structures that, as a system, carry sensory and motor information between the central nervous system and motor information between the central nervous system and all the other organs and tissues of the body. It is also divided into two, which are the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. In somatic nervous system, it is associated with the voluntary control of the body movement and has two main parts. The spinal nerves, the nerves that carry motor and sensory signals between the spinal cord and the body, and the cranial nerves, the nerve fibers that carry information into and out of the brainstem. On the other hand, autonomic nervous system is associated with the involuntary control of body movement and has two subdivisions. First is the sympathetic. It is activated when the body is in a dynamic role or stress, example, increased heart rate and breathing, dilation of pupils, sweating, etc. And the second one is parasympathetic. It maintains body function and restores the body to normal or relaxed mode. Always remember that the nervous system receives and sends out information about activities within the body and monitors and responds to changes in the environment. The basic unit of structure and function of the nervous system is the neuron, which is made up of cells, cell body, the dendrites, axon, and axon terminal. Then the gap between neurons is called a synapse. A nerve impulse sends messages into the form of electrical and chemical signals. Then lastly, the nervous system is divided into the central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. I hope you learned something today.